Well, hello there, guys and gals of YouTube world. It is Friday, October the 29th in the year 2021. As always, the week flew by. And if you haven't done it yet, it's time to start totaling up your net worth. Okay, got it? I always finalize mine either the last day of the month or the first day of the next month. Anyway, today, big news. The missus and I put a deposit down and signed all the paperwork to get, as you've heard in some videos, a new dock. I call it the skinny dock. A new skinny dock. It's going to be 5 feet wide, not 3 feet like my current one. And a brand new 12 by 12 dock with a Tiki hut. Tiki hut will be a 10 by 10. And the Tiki poles, 4 pole, they'll be 8 feet apart. So you have, the dock will be 12 by 12. Poles will be 8 feet apart, 4 poles. And the Tiki hut will come down and be like a 10 by 10. So eventually it'll be, every place is busy. So it'll be several months, but eventually you may see me recording a video sitting down, not on my seawall, but over top the water on a brand new dock, okay? Hopefully you like it. It's later in the day, I normally make videos in the sun. I can see a glare sometimes coming in, so ignore that. But anyway, you may be wondering, Mazske, how did you have the money to pay for this dock and everything, Tiki hut? Because without me saying the price, everything has gone up. Lumber costs have gone up, material price has gone up, labor costs have gone up, etc., etc. And you've heard me mention different things before. You know my background. I was a blue-collar worker, okay? Oh, and FYI, I have a couple of local subscribers to me. I don't think you watch all my videos, but if you do, and you want a new dock, you want a Tiki hut, or you want something repaired, a boat lift built, whatever, email me, because my email is always in the description, and I will recommend the company that I am using. And the missus and I found this out today. It is owned by a female. There are very few female-owned businesses out there. So we always do our best to support any female-owned business or minority-owned business, okay? That's what we all should do because there's equality. We're all equal. We all bleed the same color. There's no difference in race, sex, anything. We're all the same. But society does not realize that, okay? So anyway, but if you're wondering, how did you afford this? How can you afford this? Look back at my other videos. I talk about investing in stocks. I talk about investing in real estate. And something I'm gonna throw out here is, let's say you're investing just in mutual funds, all right? And you're thinking, you can't invest in stocks. You may remember I have mentioned I started investing in mutual funds. It was back in 1990. And I thought, I can't invest in individual stocks. Rich people invest in individual stocks. And that was true back in 1990 because you had to buy stocks like in lots of 100 shares, pay maybe a $50 commission charge. So the little guy could not afford that, okay? But in 1999, I found a website. That website changed my life. I'm now a very small time contractor for that website, okay? So I'll throw that out. I've said that before in other videos. But if you want to learn how to invest in individual stocks, I encourage you, go to this website, which is www.fool.com, F-O-O-L, 4 letters, fool.com. Okay, David and Tom Gardner, I've met them both, great guys, they're brothers. They founded the company with a third person, I forget his name. That's where I learned all about stock investing. And I really learned when I subscribed to one of their services. They have a free side. Services you do have to pay for, but they have their flagship service is called Stock Advisor. I've talked about this before. An annual subscription will run $199, but you can find a coupon code at times to get it for $99. That's all you need. You can get by with the free side, but if you need a little bit more help, if you subscribe to Stock Advisor, you will get all the information you need. If you're local to me, because there's several of you, probably a dozen folks I've talked to locally, but I only know of 1 or 2 that subscribe to this channel. But if you need help with buying stocks, we can meet up in a public place like a Starbucks or wherever, and I'll talk to you about it, okay? And I've met a lot of you in your place of business. I can always meet you in your place of business. Restaurants, probably restaurants you can't talk to me that much, but we can meet up in a Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or someplace. All right, I don't charge anything. Just buy me a cup of coffee, or something to drink. That's all. a buck or two. That's all. Don't pay me. I don't accept payment for my information. Okay? All right, but if you're thinking you can't buy rental property, again, watch some of my other videos. I dare say almost anyone out there can buy rental property. The problem is it's fear of the unknown. It's the fear of maybe everyone remembers if they bought their own house, how hard that is and how stressful that is. But when you buy rental property, it can be stressful, it can be hard. But you gotta find your market you want to invest in. Like where I'm at here in Florida, I do not recommend anybody buy rental property here at this current time. There are some good deals out there, but housing is expensive and rents, positive cash flow, you're not gonna get it unless you can just get a good deal, okay? But there are markets outside. I tell people on the coastline, you look inward, and you can find markets much cheaper. I have bought a house fully renovated for $25,000. That's not the norm, okay? That one house, I still have it, rents for $800 or $850, okay? Think about the cash on cash return there. It's good return. I have bought other houses for $50,000, $70,000, etc. In Virginia, I paid $100,000. All right, but I get better cash flow on houses I bought for 50, 60, 70,000 and put more money in my pocket than I did on houses in Virginia. I also had 2 houses in Alabama, but I'm selling those houses. I have not had good luck in Alabama. Okay, so I'm washing my hands on, not on that city entirely, but I'm going to wash my hands on those 2 houses over the next 6 to 9 months, hopefully. And maybe in the future I will start over again in a different part of the state, perhaps, or maybe in the same state. We shall see. All right, but if you think it's hard to get rental property, you're mistaken. It's not, okay? But you do have to have a job history. If you're self-employed, sometimes it's a little harder to get a mortgage. I do have contacts in the financial world that can help self-employed people out with getting mortgages for rental property. Again, reach out to me if you need this sort of banker, let's say. All right, I do plan to interview one person, at least one financial person that can give mortgages in all 50 states, I think, and has given me probably a dozen or so mortgages over the years. Okay, it's only been a couple years, 5 years, 4 years, 5 years that I've been buying rental property. Okay, so remember, I was the little guy for many, many, many years. I was the little guy. Most of my peers, as you know, I'm a retired cop. Most of my peers do not invest. They will say they don't have the money. They don't have the time. When I was hired, there were police officers there that were older than me. I am now retired. Some of those police officers are still working there. They drive much nicer vehicles than I do, but they will say they plan to work until they die because they cannot afford to retire. The pension is too much of a cut in their lifestyle, and they cannot afford to retire. But I talked to them all about investing. I emailed them. I talked to different people. I don't know what it is. I don't know why people are so resistant to investing. I just don't understand it. Maybe my mind's different, okay, because my mind's more open to it. As you know, if you've watched my channel, I invest in stocks, real estate, oil drilling, mineral rights acreage. I've checked into farmland investing, wine investing, and art investing, okay? Down the road, I may invest in farmland, wine, and art, but currently I'm not going to. Not for the time. There's a reason for that, and I'll get into that in the future, okay? But just with oil drilling and mineral rights, remember you got to be accredited for that. So you can't, if you're not accredited yet, work towards it. Because I dare say, any of you, if you start today, give it 5 to 10 years, and you will become accredited. Do you know what accredited is? Some of my new watchers may not. Accredited, there's 2 big ways of becoming accredited. One is to have an annual income of at least $200,000 if you're single, $300,000 if you're a couple, for at least 2 consecutive years with the expectations that it will continue, okay? The more common way to be accredited, which is how I did it, is you get a net worth, not counting your personal residence, of at least $1 million, okay? So that can be a combination of stocks, assets that you own, not vehicles that you own, stocks that you own, the value of rental property you own, any other like alternative investments that you may have. But you got to be accredited. There's certain investments you have to be accredited to get into. Like a lot of times syndication for apartments oil drilling, mineral rights, acreage, and other syndications. Farmland investing, I think you have to be accredited, okay? But maybe I'm jumping ahead of the game here, because if you're new at this, you got to get started. Start with stocks. You can use, if you're in mutual funds, my personal recommendation, I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just recommending it. I'm not an accountant, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a financial advisor, is index funds. Index funds are the simplest with the cheapest expenses. All right, but move from index funds, I think, into individual stocks. Because individual stocks, and if you can pick the cream of the crop, you may get returns of 1,000%, 1,500%, 2,500%. Stocks, individual stocks can go up. The index will only go up like the stock market does, okay? But if you do that, next step is rental property, all right? So let me help you out. I don't charge. YouTube is free, all right? So if I can do it, this little blue-collar guy, if I can do it, you can do it, okay? All right, you take care. Stay safe. Mazske is signing out.